my terrible experience at work was, so as part of my job I meet clients day to day, and I'm on the way to the client, I'm on the M60 and the tyre blew out on the side of the motorway, so I had to ring the client and say, can we rearrange? And it was a really important meeting, and we had to do it on Teams at the end of the day, so that wasn't a good time.
Yeah. I once worked at a restaurant and poured a full pint over a man's steak dinner.
So there was a time I was going out to a client, which was quite a far drive away. It was only until I got to the client's premises that I realised, as I opened the boot, I'm missing my laptop. So I had to drive all the way back home, explain I'm going to be a bit late because I can't do any work. So yeah, I had to make that time up. You never made that mistake again.
I once went to an interview for a marketing role when I was doing my degree, and was there for a couple of hours, had a 5-minute interview, was asked to come back for an assessment day, asked to wear flat shoes, and when I got there they gave me to my manager, who was younger than me, which I don't mind, but he was very confident and talking about how much money he's earned, how well he's doing, how he bought his mum a car on the first week, asked me if I've got any cash on me because we're getting a bus into Stockport from Manchester Town Centre, and then the whole bus journey avoided the conversation of what the actual job was until we got to Greg's in Stockport and he told me it was door-to-door sales.
As part of my job I do the interviews, and there was a new starter, and it was on Teams, so it was during the pandemic, and unfortunately she had a backdrop and her backdrop fell down and there was a lot of clothes and mess everywhere, and the camera went off, and then that was it. It was just a voiceover for the rest of the interview.
There was one time I was working from home and I went into the kitchen. I didn't lock my computer. I went into the kitchen to make a brew, came back, found my cat sat on my laptop, but he somehow managed to completely disable my computer, and I had to shut it down and lose everything. It was quite a lot of work because he's gone.
Yeah, I've had a few awkward moments because in our team we do a lot of presentations, so they don't always go quite to plan. And I remember one particularly where I usually try and get a really bad joke in at the start of the presentation because it breaks the ice, it lightens up the room a little bit most of the time. But I was doing this one presentation to a group of about 30 people, most of which were our clients. And I was up there at the front, I was the first on of the day, thinking I was being really funny, going through the slides, and I went to click the slide for the punchline, and one of my colleagues had removed the punchline slide, which I wasn't expecting. So then I had the really awkward moment of having to stand in front of this room of people. My joke didn't work, but having to explain to them why my joke would have been hilarious had it been on the screen. I got away with it, but I think what I learned from that is, things can happen.
I once, when I was my first proper PA job, I'd done minuting before, but the official kind of transcript and then you watch it back, write it up. This one wasn't one of them, it was just to make the actions, and I sat there in the meeting thinking, none of this sounds like an action, so I didn't write anything down. Then got asked to circulate the actions and was like, but there wasn't any. Got home and just cried to my mum and dad, went back in the next day, admitted what I'd done, and they were like, it's alright, I wrote them down too, so someone else had done it. So it was my first one, and then after that I understood.
So I went for a trial shift at a call centre and was doing all the training, and finally they let me go out on my own. First call, I rang up, cold calling, and the lady on the other side of the line said, you sound miserable, you should get a new job. So I never looked back after that. Yeah.
Just ask. I think it's so much better when people ask. Everyone's been in that situation, everyone's had a first job, everyone's had something that they've not done before that they're not 100% sure about. Just ask the question. People would rather you ask than sit there staring into space and worrying.
Yeah, the big thing that when I first started, I think what I'd say to people just starting off is asking for help. think that's where a lot of things can go wrong, is where you're given a task. It could even be quite a simple task, but it's new to you or you've not done it before, so you spend more time worrying about the task itself than just doing it or asking for help.
An important thing for students to realise is that things go wrong day to day, and it can seem really a horrible task and it can seem the end of the world, but it's not the end of the world, and that's how we learn, by making mistakes.